Welcome to the Angry Nerd Podcast. My name is Arshawn Wade, aka the Angry Nerd. The Angry Nerd Podcast is taped in front of a live Facebook audience from my mom's basement. The Angry Nerd Podcast is brought to you in part by some bad life choices and a few shattered dreams. The Angry Nerd Podcast is made possible by money that my wife gives me from my SSI chick, some chick named Joni, and proceeds from listeners like you. If you want to be one of the listeners that helps contribute to this show getting better and better, go to Cash App. My Cash App is $the Angry Nerd. But wait. We don't do glorified internet begging like some channels. No shade. We have channel merch. And fresh for the holiday seasons, pick yourself up one of the Angry Nerd t-shirts. They come in black and white and for sizes small through extra large. You can get it with the low price of $15 for the holiday season. Maybe you got a mom, maybe you got a dad, kid, I don't know, a dog. Pick up a shirt. If you follow me on Facebook, send me an inbox. Or you can email me at theangrynerdpodcast.com. theangrynerdpodcast@gmail.com. Or maybe you have a small business and you need to take advantage of one of my personal favorite promos, which is my small business package, Custom Tees by Arshawn. Go over to customteesbyarshawn.com. Make an order today. We got 12 t-shirts, one print, one location for the low price of $90 plus shipping and handling. Holler at the kid. Also, I want to give a shout out to a YouTube channel that is making a whole lot of noise right now. That is my son. My beautiful son has a YouTube page, and it's just simply Arshawn Wade. No, for those of you who think I'm a selfish person, he's not a junior. But it's Arshawn Wade. Go check him out. He reacts to Facebook videos and the like. He's an awesome kid. Every now and again, he tries to be a good big brother, and he puts his little brother on there who only knows 38 words. But somehow or another, he gets him in there and gets him involved. So go check him out, man. Give him a like. Give him a subscribe. It's for the kids. Come on, he's a kid. Doesn't that make you feel guilty? Doesn't that make you want to go over there and give him some likes? Aww. That was shady. Also, I want to talk to you guys. After the new year, we are going to have a new show. It will be Man Talk Tuesdays with the Angry Nerd. Yeah, go ahead and give me. Thank you. Yeah, but anyways, Man Talk Tuesdays with the Angry Nerd is going to be a new show that we're going to be doing this year. And it's where I get with other men and we have conversations. We have conversations about manhood. What do we consider real man stuff, and what do we consider sucker type stuff? Because everybody's different. Sometimes suckers don't know that they're suckers. And sometimes real men dealing with women who have never dealt with real men will sometimes feel like they aren't real men because they're dealing with someone who does not appreciate them. And now they're questioning their realness as men. Oh, these topics and much more we're going to cover on Man Talk Tuesdays. I'm super excited about it, and I cannot wait to bring this information. And I have guys from all over the social atmosphere. Dude, we have fighters, firemen, preachers. Man, we already have so many like different guests, black, white, Hispanic. We got so many guys, and we're just going to chop it up and see what manhood means to all these different people from these different backgrounds, man. I'm excited about it. Real quick, I want to have a moment of silence for Debo, aka Tommy Tiny Lister, or if you're a little bit older, Zeus. Yeah, we lost the good brother this week, man, and I want to give a moment of silence for him real quick. Moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that brother is going to be sorely missed, man. Although he had the persona of Debo, the neighborhood bully in Friday, I've always followed his career, and I've always followed what kind of person he was, because it's funny to have this big, strong, mean-looking guy, and he was such an activist. He was a community outreach kind of guy. He was the gang intervention kind of dude, super Christian guy, just a great person, man. And he's really going to be missed. My hope and my prayer is that somebody of that stature and status steps up and fills that void, because I know that guy did a whole lot of community outreach work, and there's going to be a void created with his loss. Big shoes to fill, but I hope somebody tries to put them on. So I'm hearing from sources that there could be a second wave of COVID-19 shutdowns. I really hope that doesn't happen. As a small business owner, I will tell you, it's a struggle. Even right now where we are with the COVID-19 pandemic, it's a struggle to keep your business going, to get new business, to get contracts. It's a struggle because everyone is so afraid. No one knows where we're going, what's coming. You hear the right wingers talking about Biden's going to do this and Biden's going to do that, or the left wing. I'm not entirely sure which wing is which. I don't know, from my vantage point as a person who's not rich, I kind of view them both the same. Is that wrong? I don't know. I don't know if that's wrong or not. But that's kind of how I view both sides. Like they're the same. But I digress. I was listening to American Family Radio. For those of you who aren't familiar with the radio station, it's a kind of uber Christian right-wing radio station. And mostly I like to ride by myself and listen to it and argue with the pastors and stuff. But I'm hearing a lot of talk about these shutdowns, man, and I'm really hoping that doesn't happen, because we've already saw how it just ravaged the small business community. And I don't think we can, and when I say we, I mean myself included, small businesses, I don't think that we can survive another shutdown. I just don't. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that. Let's make sure that we stay prayed up. For me to sound all Christian-y, whatever you believe in. I don't believe in religion. I'm not religious, but I believe in prayer. I think that prayer works. I think that meditation works. I think that religion is the... Anyways, we won't get on that. That's not what we're talking about tonight. Tonight's topic is actually practicing what you preach. But before we get into that, a couple of other things. I wanted to say shout out to Mr. Corey Holcomb, my hero, my idol. Corey Holcomb squashed the beef with Ray Grady. He acknowledged his wrong, his role in their beef. And I knew he was that kind of man. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and act like me and my couple of followers on Facebook and YouTube, Podbean, and Spotify urged him in that direction, but I'm glad that he did, because it shows me that he is who I believed him to be. And moving right along, I wanted to touch base on this story real quick because it kind of segues into our main topic, which is practice what you preach. In relation to dealing with women, significant others, mates. Mostly, I'm a man, so I have a wife. So it's about men and how they deal with their women and how you stand on the shit that you be talking about. So a New Jersey man kills a woman because she turned him down. Patterson, New Jersey man, 38 years old, killed a 36-year-old mother of 4. And I think she was pregnant. You have to be a low-down, dirtbag, scoundrel of a guy to kill a woman because she shot you down. She shot you down. No bomb on that. I wanted to boo him. I hit the wrong button. Give him another boo. Because she shot you down. Dog, have you never been in the 8th grade? I mean, what were you doing in the 8th grade that you didn't get shot down 32,000 times in the 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade? No, I got kind of cool in the 11th grade. Yeah, I had that growth spurt. I went from like 5'2.5" to 6 foot in one summer. Like I went from little kid to grown man in one summer. So like I got cool. But what kind of guy kills a woman because she doesn't give him any play? I would be, and listen, this is, hold on, let me do my Denzel. I'm not Denzel, my LL Cool J. Hold on, let me do the L. Let me do my LL on that. I'm a nice looking guy. I'm a handsome guy. And I have been shot down like a 747 over hostile airs. Plenty of times. And you murder a woman because you couldn't take being shot down? Now, don't get me wrong, it is embarrassing. Not really. After you get to a certain age, it's not. It's like, all right, sis, I'll catch you later, you know? But a mother is gone. A daughter is gone. Someone's potential wife. A sister. She's gone. And you guys know me well enough now that I'm not a big fan of the judicial system. I'm not a big fan of the penal institution. But I hope that it works. In this instance, if this is true and this guy murdered this woman because he was shot down, I hope that the penal institution, where I hope that he gets prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And I hope that includes, I won't say that. I almost put my foot in my mouth because I don't agree with the death penalty. But oh man, if they were going to put it on somebody, I'll tell you, I would not be totally angry if this guy got it. Okay. And that's not because I'm a murderer or a proponent for the death penalty. I'm just saying I wouldn't be mad. All right. Moving right along, man. Getting to our main topic. Practicing what you preach. So those of you who know me or those of you who follow me, been following me for a little bit of time, you know there are two things that I talk about religiously. That is capitalism and how it's the root of all evil. Go ahead, give me a hand clap on that. I don't give a damn. Capitalism is the root of all evil. And women and their lack of accountability. Story time with Arshawn. So check this out. Catch this dirt. So I come in from the gym. I've been working out all day. I wasn't tired. I felt good. I was in a good mood. I was in good spirits. I hit the door. Boom. I walk in and my 3-year-old is holding the PlayStation 4 controller. And I look at the TV and I see the PlayStation Network, and he's at the login screen, or I don't know. Let me back up for a second, because all of my spidey senses went off, and I'll tell you why. Because my 10-year-old, who's 11 now, he was 10 at the time, he was unsupervised on the internet, and he racked up $400 some odd worth of Roblox and Fortnite subscriptions. Right. So when I saw the PlayStation Network pulled up and this little bitty dude with the controller and we're at the punch-in screen, I'm like, what's going on? Why is this kid holding the controller logged into the PlayStation Network? What the F is going on? And my wife is on the phone. She's on the phone and she looks at me like, calm down. That's the look on her face like, why you tripping? And like I said, my mentality is on this previous bill that we had. Last time a child was left unattended on the internet. She looks at me like I'm wigging out. Now, under my breath, I had no intentions of her hearing what I said. That's not to excuse it, and that's not to make it okay. But what I said under my breath was, you gotta be a stupid MFer. No bomb on that. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong. That's right, I boot myself because that was bogus. And let me say this, my belief, and I stand on this. I don't believe that it was bogus for me to say that. I believe that it was bogus for me to say that, and she was close enough to hear me. That's what I think. Because I oftentimes, to keep the peace, I won't say anything because I have a partner who is a very sensitive person. And I oftentimes don't want to ruffle the feathers or rock the boat. So the way I cope is I mutter under my breath. Now, in my defense, I will say this, and I said this to her. When I do that, it's not usually something like that. It's usually, man, you couldn't have picked the shoe up? Oh, dang, they didn't wash the dishes. You know, it's usually something more benign than that. It's not usually something so harsh. But like I said, my spirits were high because I was thinking about this bill that these people sent us last time. And she adjudicated that. I don't know how she worked all that out. I just don't want it to happen. Her thing was, did you just say that to me? And I didn't technically say it to her. I wasn't talking to her. I said it in passing under my breath. It was bogus. It was bogus for me to say that where she could hear it. I don't feel like it was bogus for me to express the way I feel about somebody who conducts themselves in that fashion. I feel like as this being my wife, this being my woman, I should not have said that to where she could hear it. I'm a big firm believer in saying some stuff to my homeboy that I wouldn't say to her. Well, in the language that I wouldn't use with her. Does that make sense? If I was talking to her about an issue, the language that I would use with her would be very different. Versus talking to one of my friends, I would be talking to them and I would, this B word and this heifer, woo-de-woo, you know, I would be talking that way because that's who I am. But in the interest of this being the person that I love more than anybody else, and this being the person whose life is linked up with mine, I would never want to use that kind of language to her. I think that is totally inappropriate. But when she said, "Oh, you just gonna say that?" I was like, "Yeah, I said it. What?" I did that. I sleazed out. I did what you're not supposed to do in that situation. I dug my heels in, and that's what you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to dig your heels in. You have to remain spiritually and emotionally, you have to remain pliable so that when these things happen, they don't come up against a rigid, hard, stuck in the ground, immovable object. When you're emotionally and spiritually pliable, you can receive something softly and respond appropriately. See, what I had to figure out was, how are we going to speed past the kid with the controller on the internet, right where you make purchases at, on the PlayStation Network? How do we speed past that? And shout out to the collective, my brothers on Facebook. We have a chat group where we support each other. We have a men's mental health group and we support each other. So I posed this question to them. And I got some feedback. Not all of it was on my side. I will say this, though. I can see culturally how some of my black brothers are a little less emotionally evolved than some of my Caucasian brothers. I will say that. Because all the brothers was like, "Hey man, F her. You know, these heifers always tripping. No, you right. You in the right. You in the right, brother. No, forget that. No. Then look, I just had the same problem with my wife. You know what I did, right? Silent treatment. I ain't got time for that." And I was like, no, thank God for my Caucasian friends. Thank God that I have a vast array of friends. I don't just have black friends. Black friends that have you divorced out in this piece. Do you hear me? My white friend. But then the white friends have to have black friends because sometimes the white friend is too soft. Well, Arshawn, did you think of things from her perspective? You know what I mean? You bust up. And I love white dudes' language. Like white dudes, that's how you get arrested when the cops come dealing with a white guy, because the language that he uses. The white guys, Arshawn, you bust up in the house. First of all, Tyler, I didn't bust up in anywhere. This is my house. I didn't bust up in here. I walked in. Well, anyways, you just busted in the house and you flew off the handle. Why do they use these colloquialisms that make no sense? Flying off the handle. What does that mean? Anyways, you flew off the handle, Arshawn, and then you basically cursed her out. You berated her. All right, Tyler, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take what Tyler told me, and I'm going to take what Tyrone told me, and I'm going to put those two together. And I'm going to go meditate. That's what I'm going to do. See, because at the impetus of the problem, I didn't practice what I preach. I didn't practice emotional intelligence. I didn't practice keeping a cool head, being rational, cool, calm, and collected. I didn't do that. I had an emotional response to a stressor versus recognizing the stressor and processing it appropriately. See, I didn't do that. Although when I counsel young men, although when my friends call me and ask me for advice, although when young ladies ask me for advice, this is the information that I give them. Oftentimes my wife is in the other room when I'm recording my podcast and she hears the advice that I give people. She witnesses me say these things. She witnesses me preach this information day in and day out. And I would be less than a man if I didn't share my shortcoming in this respect to you guys. I feel like that's setting the stage to be on the road to redemption for me. Oftentimes, though, counselors and teachers and preachers fall short because they spend so much time with other people and their problems and their issues that they fail to check self. They fail to keep self in check. They fail to practice the things that they are teaching people. And the other day I failed when it comes to practicing what I preach. I was not emotionally responsible. I was not cognitive. I was not cerebral. All these things that we say men are versus women. I was emotional. And more importantly, I was wrong. But here's the but, and I don't like it. We talked this morning in our support group, and I was asked, so how do you feel? How do you feel about it? And I said, I feel confident in the fact that I own my shit and I did my part in cleaning my side of the street up. But I still feel like I got the short end of the stick because I did bullshit. Let's go ahead and put that out there. I did wrong. But because I messed up, does that negate the fact that the kid was left unattended with the internet? Not to me. But There's no way to bring it up. There's no way to broach the subject without rehashing the bullshit. Because here's the thing. It's going to come back. Well, that's neither here nor there because you referred to me as a stupid mother effer. Drat. That sucks. It really does. But it made me think. This morning I was thinking about what's the name of that movie? As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson. Yeah. The girl, she was running over to Jack and she says, "How do you write women so well?" And he says, "I think of a man and then I take away reasoning and accountability." That's what this situation made me think of. And no, I'm not flipping the script, ladies. No, I'm not going to take my shortcoming and now beat up women. But I will say this. I think that was the biggest social gem of the century. Women, I don't expect very many women to agree with this. I only expect intelligent, pro-social, self-actualized women to agree with me or to even fathom what I'm saying as an iota of truth. And that is typically, mostly in this country, women lack accountability. See, because this was the analogy that I used with my wife. I'm like, basically, this is the equivalent of a guy breaking into my house, me shooting the guy, and then the cops showing up, and they're more concerned with the fact that I shot this guy than they are with the fact that this guy broke into my house in the first place. That's where I'm at with it. Because we get to sweep the BS under the rug that initiated the negative interaction. That's where I feel like I took an L at. That's where I feel like I got the short end of the stick because, okay, I acknowledge that I did wrong. I accept that I did wrong. I apologize for said wrong. And now we're good. I still feel slighted. Me doing wrong doesn't make it okay that you did wrong too, that you neglected the child while he had the $1 million instrument in his hand. I don't know. I grew up in the 90s, so I remember the movie Blank Check. And in my mind, anytime kids have access to the internet and your credit card's hooked up to the internet and your debit card's hooked up to the internet, these little people can wipe you out. I'm jaded. I'm scarred. But for me, I feel like this was a triumph for me. I felt like this was a teachable moment. I felt like this was a moment for my growth, for me to be more cognitive, be more aware of how I approach situations when I'm dealing with my wife or really anybody. But I think the ego can kind of write strangers off. It's like I have to live with this person. So it's a little bit different when you live with somebody and you have kids with them and you share bills with them. So it's like, I got to figure out how to make this work. The guy that cut me off or that I cut off in traffic, I'm not going to see him anymore in like 3 seconds. So I'm not all the way messed up about that. But after I meditated and I thought on it, I don't mind sharing with you. Right now, as I speak, I still feel slighted. I still feel like I got the shaft. But that's my ego. That's my ego, and I recognize that. I sat with my feelings. I sat with my emotions. I meditated. I prayed. And I realized, I am aware that the reason I feel like I took an L is because of my ego. My ego feels bruised because I'm the mother effer that knows. I'm the mother effer that has the information. And I got caught slipping. And I got checked. Any of my street people out there know that feeling? See, I haven't always just been the angry nerd. I actually been a street dude once upon a time. And I've been in someone else's neighborhood and I was subjected to the way that they wanted to talk to me because they had me cold. Could have done whatever they wanted to. They had the trump card. They had the numbers. They had the, toaster. And I had to put my hands in the air and say, hey, it's your world, man. I'd appreciate it if you let me make it. Don't beat my ass. Don't kill me. So I'm just trying to go to my uncle's house. And of course, they, youngsters push me upside the head. Yeah, get on out of here, man. Talk to you all crazy, treat you all bad. There's no worse feeling than that for a street guy, for somebody who's supposed to be tough and street savvy, to get reduced to a little homie in an instance, And that's how I felt in this situation. I feel like I got stone cold little manned. And once again, it's the ego. But had I been actively practicing the principles and the tenets that I preach, maybe I wouldn't feel the way I feel right now, because I would have conducted myself in a more pro-social, positive fashion. And I shared with my wife, listen, although I'm acknowledging my wrongdoing, although I'm acknowledging this shortcoming, I stand on what I said. I believe 100% what I said. I expressed myself in the wrong venue. I shouldn't have done that where you were in earshot. That's the only thing that I feel like I did wrong. I feel like if I had went in the bathroom or in the backyard, or if I'd have went and sat in my car and said these things and vented and it blew a gasket, I felt like that would have been appropriate. I feel like for you to hear me speak that way, it was like me opening my journal to you. And I do not feel like I'm less than a man because I keep a journal, okay? Mind y'all's business. But in my journal, she's going to be brokenhearted if she reads that journal. Because that's where I share all of the foul and vile things that I would like to say to her that I know are just wrong, because I love her. I would never want to say anything like that to her. But there are times when she does things that inspires those kinds of feelings, those kinds of thoughts. I don't live in them. I don't dwell in them. I don't carry them. That's not what I do. But every now and again, I got to pull out the old journal and jot down some curse words. Just is what it is. Shout out to me for being man enough to share that. But it really got me to thinking about how many other things, because she's not the only person that I interact with that I live my truth in front of. So now I'm looking at my son. Are there times when I'm preaching things to my son that he's not seeing me practice? Because what I don't want to have happen is that the people in my life view me as a hypocrite, because I say one thing and then I do another. I tell you that this is what a man is. I show you this is how a man lives. And then I do something contrary. See, we talked about this a week or two ago. We talked about the inflexibility and the flexibility, of a man, of a man's convictions. And I think that I just had a light bulb go off over my head, because maybe I need to get with my son after that interaction. I don't know if my son or anybody else heard me, because I muttered under my breath. I didn't even think she heard me. She was on the phone. She doesn't hear well anyway. So I just didn't think that she heard me. I thought that I was in the clear until she said, "Oh, you gonna say that?" You know. Yeah, I said it. What you gonna do? Sorry, that was my Baltimore accent, the ugliest accent known to man. Hey, what you gonna do? Baltimore. I hate the way they talk. Anyways, I digress. Men. Message to my fellow men. We have to be about our business when it comes to practicing what we preach. Because there are people in our lives who are watching us. There are people in our lives who are looking for a chink in your armor. You know what I mean? Not like in a vicious, vindictive kind of way. Not like they looking to do harm to you, but they're looking for you like, it's always about trust. Can I trust this mother effer to be exactly who he said he is? Is this mother effer really that guy? Or is this a facade? And I'll tell you what happens when instances like this happen. I think that it's normal. I think that these things are going to happen. But what I think happens is, if we don't do something to rectify the problem, if we don't do something to fix it, that's when we start chipping away at our armor. That's when we start chipping away at the image that our women and children have of us. I think that if I had just left that out there and then just let some days go by and sweep it under the rug, because a mother effer can't stay mad forever. Eventually we could have just slid back into the groove of doing things. Of course, I would have appropriately went a few days without sex and sleeping on the couch or in the living room on the floor, whatever. But I think to take that L and let my ego feel a little beat up, I think that ultimately I did more good in that situation than the initial bad was. Does that make sense? I think that the good that came out of it outweighs the bad that initiated it. And just so you guys don't think that I'm like some superhuman guru or anything like that, in the back of my mind, I'm waiting for an opportunity to bring up the whole kid and the PlayStation Network thing. I'm waiting to bring that up. Be like, hey, this is just like what happened the other day when I came in and wigged out. Yeah. Ego. Damn you. But seriously, man, real spill. I'm seriously sitting here like having to actively fight that thought, because I know that that's just going to put more funk in the game. I have the information. I have the awareness. I'm supposed to be the one who takes the higher road. I'm supposed to be the bigger person. But let me tell you something. I want to be little. I want to be little, and I want to be petty, and I want to be funky. All of that. But as a man in this country, I don't have that privilege. I just don't. And I don't mind telling you that my personal convictions just won't allow me to do that either. Every now and again, I'll say, yeah, I'm going to put the man hat down for a little while, and I'm about to put on my petty pants. That's what I'm about to do. It never goes good. It just doesn't work when it comes from us. It's just not good. It's not helpful. It's not conducive to having a healthy relationship. It's not how you maintain a relationship. And I'm not saying that you have to be rigid in your pursuit of masculinity. I'm not saying that in your convictions as a man, you have to be inflexible. I'm not saying that. I just told you that I have these thoughts, and once in a while I will go ahead and be petty Betty. But I've recognized that there's no value in it. I've recognized the fact that I don't get anything good out of it. I don't reap any benefits or rewards from it. Mostly because women don't really have they don't have a limit to the petty. Every time you think you've gotten all the way down to the bottom of the petty, you come to a door and there's a petty underground garage. We put a bomb on that. That was hot. Shout out to Sugar Free to Pete. So it would behoove us as men to practice what we preach. Slow our roll from time to time. Like I should have slowed my roll whenever I came in and I saw my son. In my brain, he was getting ready to write that blank check, fill it out for $1 million. That's no excuse. That's no excuse. But before we get out of here, I want to say, as men, let's continue to strive toward emotional and spiritual education. Let's continue to educate ourselves spiritually. Let's continue to educate ourselves emotionally. I read a new book this week. I told you guys I was going to start trying to bring at least one book a week. And it is Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe by Reese Owen. Very good read. I'm always into the self-help stuff, and it's just like the rest of the self-help books, but with a little more urban vernacular. I really enjoyed it. It talked procrastination, getting rid of stinking thinking, changing the voices in your head, making the voices in your head, that inside voice that says, man, I can't do that. Say, man, yes, you can, and you better get your ass up before you miss this opportunity. So I really enjoyed that book. You guys should check it out. It's on Audible for those of my guys and girls out there who don't have the time to sit down and read a book, a paperback or hardback book. I get that. But I love the fact that Audible has so many new selections out there. And Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe by Reese Owen. Very good read. But the overall general idea is, let us maintain our push toward emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence as we lead our families, our communities, whether you're in the church or the mosque or the temple, or you just have some young men that look up to you for guidance. Let's maintain the things that we say. Let's make sure that we stand on the principles that we have instilled in others. Otherwise, what we have put down and what we have established is watered down and it's weak. Hey, my name is Arshawn Wade, aka The Angry Nerd. Peace.